We're taking a closer look at moments when stars opened up about Hollywood's darkest secrets and its most...
There was a thought that you would just go rip open someone and play around with their insides. So, and I think that all seemed to change, I think, the last 15 years.
My parents always said, you know, they wanted me to go to college.
Where did you get in?
Well, it's interesting because I got into NYU,
right?
But I only got in because I was a famous actor. My grades sucked.
Whether promoting his films or speaking out on social issues, John Cusack has built a reputation for being candid and unfiltered. While doing press for Maps to the Stars, a film that satirizes Hollywood's obsession with fame, Cusack pointed out how closely its themes mirrored reality.
The time in our lives and in our therapies when our eyes strayed to the bags at the door. After we've wept, after we have suffered, after we've exhausted the fountain of memory and bloodied our hands on the walls of our parents.
In an interview with The Guardian, Cusack reflected on how easily Hollywood exploits the young and vulnerable. He explained that while many come to the industry hoping to turn their pain into meaningful art, and perhaps gain fame in the process, the enormous amounts of money involved inevitably attract predators.
I wanted to forge my own path. I found what I wanted to do, and I didn't want anything getting in the way of it. And even friends for many years were not as important to me as my career. I mean, from the age of 14.
Cusack also criticized Hollywood's deep-rooted misogyny, calling it brutal toward women who are often labeled too old before they even turn 30, while men continue to thrive in leading roles well into their 60s. Jennifer Lawrence has also spoken out about the industry's harmful beauty standards. She rose to fame as Katniss Everdeen in The Hunger Games, but quickly learned how unforgiving Hollywood could be.
The truth is that systematic racism has been a deep part of American history, not only America, but globally, and it's just an insight to racial relations and tensions between people who haven't been given the best opportunity by the system.
But Lawrence's rise to fame wasn't without its struggles. She recalled receiving cruel comments from people in positions of power, and during Elle magazine's Women in Hollywood event, she shared one particularly disturbing experience. Alongside 5 other young women, she was ordered to stand in a lineup wearing little more than underwear. She said they were all pressured to follow an extreme diet plan, and one actress was even fired for not losing weight quickly enough. Lawrence admitted she felt trapped, pressured to accept mistreatment if she wanted her career to move forward.
In an interview with GQ, Boyega blasted the company, advising them to not market a black character as important and then push them aside.
And when you said, I'm going to quote you, what I say to Disney is, do not market a black character as important and then push them aside. I feel like they heard you.
Yeah, no, but as they should, even if you want to remove race out of it, just from a business perspective, Don't tease no black. You know what that does to black people, you know?
His comments contributed to discussions about Hollywood's lack of diversity while calling for studio executives to take meaningful accountability within the industry.
It gives other actors the ability to be able to say, okay, look, I'm not comfortable with this, or this is what's happened, so this is the kind of support I need. And that for me is what I wanted out of everything. I wanted to be able to walk into a room, a black actor, whenever they feel some type of way, they can go to the studio head and say, this is how I feel, this is the support I need, and they can get that. It won't be a weird conversation. And me knowing that, I'm like...
Although the Hunger Games star has since secured her place on Hollywood's A-list, her story highlights the degrading treatment that many rising performers are forced to endure on their way up.
Say to the woman, no, we paid you less because you don't have a diploma, or you sell less of this product, or you've worked for us for a shorter time. They have to show a tangible reason why they can pay this woman less than her white male counterpart in the...
John. Boa Disney's treatment of people of color.
That is true, and the strongest fair pay law was passed here in California since that speech with Jerry Brown and Senator Hannah Beth Jackson, and that's amazing. But that doesn't help the women in Kentucky, and that doesn't help the women all over that are struggling. We've got 33 million women and kids living in poverty with a full-time working.
John Boyega has been outspoken about his disappointment with how Disney handled his Star Wars character, Finn. Along with co-stars like Kelly Marie Tran, he endured a wave of racist backlash from fans. Although Finn was introduced as a central figure, his role was gradually diminished as the sequel trilogy progressed. Boyega publicly criticized Disney for showcasing diversity in its marketing while failing to fully support the actors of color on screen. In an interview with GQ, he called out the studio directly, saying, "Do not market a black character as important, only to push."
If I wanted to, I could have destroyed the known universe. I just didn't want to write a tell-all. It's for other people to say, but there are still complicity machines. There's still things being hidden. But it's all, this is progress, not perfection, and we're starting to talk. It's a great thing.
His comments contributed to discussions about Hollywood's lack of diversity while calling for studio executives to take meaningful accountability within the industry.
I would be the curtain. I would be the one that saw both sides, that nobody noticed, that was pretty and there just to be used and discarded when they were done. I was the curtain, but I absorbed all information from both sides, from both how to sell to the audience and both how to be sold.
And you're pulling back that curtain.
Patricia Arquette Wage. Inequality. Patricia Arquette won an Oscar for her deeply moving performance in Richard Linklater's Boyhood.
There are so many good humans, men, women, on every spectrum that are just everybody's worked at those places that it'd be so great if it weren't for blah. Well, great, but blah also has their day in court. And I do believe these things can coexist, and I believe we're getting to be more adult, and we're having a collective conversation. That's all we need.
In her speech, she addressed wage inequality, demanding equal rights for women across all professions, not just in Hollywood. While she was praised for speaking out on such an important issue, it came at a cost. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, the actress revealed that her bold stance led to lost job opportunities. She explained how studios would justify paying women less with excuses like lacking a diploma, selling fewer products, or having less time with the company.
Message do you think that sends to anyone that has an issue with the very real racism and the lack of accountability? And it goes on.
It was clear that not everyone in the industry welcomed her speech, but she was ready for that. The actress stood by her words, admitting she knew it would stir up drama because it threatened people's profits. Still, she chose to take a stand for what she believed in, and that courage deserves respect.
Also alleges that Union and Julianne Hough were both subject to excessive notes on their physical appearance, noting that Union was allegedly told that her ever-changing hairstyles were, quote, too black for the America's Got Talent.
Rose McGowan was one of the most outspoken voices supporting the #MeToo movement, which Tarana Burke first started in 2006. The movement gained worldwide attention in 2017 after allegations against producer Harvey Weinstein came to light. Actresses like Alyssa Milano, Ashley Judd, and McGowan helped push it forward, with McGowan's own detailed account of Weinstein's actions inspiring countless other victims to speak out. While she admitted she could have written a tell-all, McGowan emphasized that the bigger issue was Hollywood's culture of silence and complicity. She also criticized the industry's leading men for failing to stand up for women. For her, #MeToo was never about perfection, it was about progress, and finally starting the conversation.
Very often, millennials, young people to me now that I'm stampeding towards middle age and wearing cowboy hats, press events, approach me and say, "Oh, I loved your movies. I loved you in George of the Jungle."
Despite repeated attempts to silence her, McGowan refused to back down. Her courage, along with the efforts of other prominent voices, helped lay the groundwork for systemic change, ensuring powerful men could no longer escape accountability. She stressed that while the industry still has flaws, progress is being made, and the collective conversation around these issues is a vital step forward. Nickelodeon also came under fire for its own troubling history after allegations of misconduct surfaced. In 2003, former dialogue coach Brian Peck was arrested for inappropriate behavior with a young actor. At the time, the victim's identity was kept private, but the 2024 documentary Quiet on Set revealed that the underage star was Drake Bell. The revelations shed new light on the toxic environment behind some of the network's most beloved shows.
From anyone on the set, might I clear that up, but, outside elements.
How did people not know when these are too, or did they know and they just weren't doing anything about it?
I mean, I know he told a lot of people. That's the thing that's so upsetting to me. It's not like it's just me that knows this story.
Other people know.
A lot of people know.
In a powerful tell-all episode, Drake Bell opened up about the trauma he endured at Brian Peck's hands. His emotional confession sent shockwaves through the industry and reignited long-overdue conversations about how young actors are treated. Bell recalled breaking down during a phone call with his mother, finally screaming out everything he had been holding inside. While Nickelodeon later issued a statement of support, Bell dismissed it as hollow and insincere, calling it little more than an empty gesture.
A feathered bird, okay? Be careful what you wish for. That's what I'll tell you. You know, don't go into it with naivety. Don't go into it thinking that it's all roses and sunglasses and
damaging an entire industry.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to say that it's a very important...
Gabrielle Union's sudden exit from America's Got Talent after just one season raised eyebrows, especially after she was labeled difficult. Refusing to accept that narrative, Union filed a discrimination complaint, alleging she was fired for speaking out against racism behind the scenes. Variety report revealed that Union repeatedly raised concerns about racially insensitive incidents during her time as a judge. This included an offensive joke made by guest judge Jay Leno, as well as repeated criticism that her changing hairstyles were deemed too black for mainstream audiences. Union also clashed with Simon Cowell and endured excessive scrutiny over her physical appearance, a pressure shared by fellow judge Julianne Hough. Ultimately, Union settled with NBC, who acknowledged the importance of the concerns she raised. Her refusal to stay silent not only kept the issue from being buried but also sparked necessary conversations about workplace equity and inclusivity. Following the news, many stars voiced their support, including Ellen Pompeo, who praised Union's courage in standing up to injustice. Brendan Fraser's story is another reminder of how Hollywood can punish those who speak out. Once one of the industry's biggest stars at the turn of the century, Fraser all but disappeared from the spotlight within a decade. For years, many assumed it was due to poor career choices. But in a 2018 interview with GQ, Fraser revealed the real reason. He had been sexually assaulted in 2003 by Philip Burke, then president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Fraser said he believed speaking out against such a powerful figure contributed to his career being derailed, effectively blacklisting him in the industry. Admitting he was still frightened but determined, he explained, "Do I feel like I need to say something? Absolutely. Have I wanted to, many times? Absolutely. I just know what my truth is." Years later, with Burke removed from the HFPA and Fraser making a triumphant Oscar-winning comeback, justice, at least in part, has been served. His resilience not only reclaimed his career but also highlighted the importance of breaking Hollywood's long silence around abuse and misconduct.
And I vow I will release every single name that I have any knowledge of, period. And nobody's going to stop me this time, as long as people support.
Corey Feldman, Hollywood's mistreatment of young performers. One of the most recognizable child stars of the 1980s, Corey Feldman never fully transitioned into major adult roles. Instead, he became known for his struggles, often shared with his close friend and fellow child actor, Corey Haim, who tragically passed away in 2010. Feldman has long attributed much of their turmoil to the toxic culture surrounding young performers in Hollywood. Speaking with The Guardian, Feldman revealed that misconduct against young actors is one of Hollywood's deepest, most overlooked problems. While he clarified that the abuse did not happen on set, he explained that outside elements preyed on him and Haim. What disturbed him most was that many people knew about it. "That's the thing that's so upsetting to me. It's not like it's just me who knows this story. A lot of people knew, and yet nothing was done." Feldman has also criticized the industry for its silence, pointing out the lack of real dialogue to confront these issues. He cautions aspiring performers not to enter the business with naive expectations. Be careful what you wish for. Don't go into it thinking it's all roses and sunglasses. Despite receiving limited support, Feldman has remained outspoken, determined to expose the darker side of fame. He has even vowed to name every abuser he has knowledge of, insisting, "I'm not playing around. This is serious stuff. Nobody's going to stop me this time, as long as people support this." Through his courage, Feldman hopes to protect future generations from the same trauma he and others endured.